On our way to, let's just call it north, central Missouri. We're going up here to, turn that down, we're rocking out here. We're on our way back up here to Buckner, Sibley, Fort Osage area. All the same place, I guess. I mean, it's really not technically, but it's all right there together. You get the point. You get the idea. Left the house, I don't know, it was right around 4:30 and I left. I got up shortly after 4. Did not want to get up. Some mornings I just don't want to get up, and especially the mornings when I got to get up earlier than normal. And one of my biggest pet peeves in life is I hate being late for anything. I mean, absolutely hate being late. And I get that from my dad. I mean, you won't find a more punctual person than my dad when it comes to being on time. And actually, it's rubbed off on me because let's say, for example, if I tell someone I'm going to be there at 8 o'clock, there's a good chance I'll probably be there at 7:30. Just because I cannot stand being late. I hate being late. I refuse to have people wait for me when it comes to being somewhere or having to be at an appointment. So, that sickness I have, sometimes I get up and leave a little earlier than I should, but I always say, what if? I mean, what if there's traffic? I mean, what if there's an accident in the road? What if Godzilla's holding up? What if he's destroyed the road? You never know. You've got to be prepared for things. So, we're going up here to get these logs sold today. Get them all taken up. Get them on their merry way. Try to get them ready for their new home in a large box container bound for parts of the world unknown. As you can see, I'm watching the road. I'm just kind of moving the camera around here. But I do like all the heads-up displays in my truck, especially my navigation, and of course it tells me what my phone's doing, and most importantly, tells me what the radio's doing. And I listen to a lot of satellite radio, and I listen to a lot of music, you never know what I'm going to listen to. Some of the stuff I even hate to admit that I do listen to. Now, had I not be videoing, I would be listening to this a little louder. A little Michael Jackson, Beat It. That'll get you going in the morning. So, we're going to go up here. Should be a fairly exciting day. I've got 2 stops to look at. I got 2 jobs of walnut timber to look at when I'm done at the buy. So, it'll be a busy day, not just selling logs. So, let's get up here, and I've got to show you how big these logs were from last week since my phone took a digger. So, let's get up here and see some big logs. This is the bad part about always being early to places, is waiting on other people. As much as I hate being late, I hate waiting. Hate it. And especially I hate when people are late, i.e. case in point where I'm at right now. I'm just hanging out here at the old truck stop parking lot watching things go down. I kind of like to watch truck. This is how I know I'm an old soul. Of course, when you're raised by your grandparents and spend most of your time around people 3 times your age. Most of my friends are probably in their 70s and 80s. They really are. My coffee buddies, the guys I play golf with, 70s and 80s. So therefore, their oldness is rubbed off on me, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's really not. But I'm content. I'm content with sitting here watching traffic, waiting. I mean, I'm playing on my phone too, but we're waiting. So hopefully, any minute, Walnut King here will be along. That's his alias, the Walnut King. I hope he watches this video too. I really do. I'm gonna tell him. I'm gonna make it a point. I'm gonna have you watch this, just so you can see I'm running you through the mud. So we'll wait on him. Always waiting on somebody. We just got done taking up this pile of logs. You can kind of got the numbers on them. You can kind of see the size of them. This one here, I think it was 28 inches. It's just an abnormally big set of logs. Just You don't see logs this size anymore. Of course, that one cut a little bad in the heart. It was, I think, 32 inches on the little end. You know, these trees should have been cut a long time ago. A long time ago. This one here was, oh gosh, I think 34 inches what we come to on it. Just a big tabletop log. And these little pieces here, these are all limbs from these logs. For the trees, should I say. There's another big chunk of wood. Big piece of tabletop material. It was starting to go bad. It doesn't go anywhere, but they were, their life cycle was up, man. It was their time to come down. They actually should have been cut about 10 years ago, but they're still a good set of logs, but you can tell they were starting to go bad. That's just a good example of what happens when you don't harvest timber when it needs to be harvested, especially on a lot of this older walnut timber. I mean, it'll start to go bad real fast. But it's a good pile of logs, no doubt about it. I was sure glad to get the opportunity to cut them. That one there had been lightning struck. Still cut some good lumber though. Just top pieces and limbs. Pretty good set of logs. Jump up here, kind of get an overview of them. Of course, they grew that ditch down there at the bottom. That's a deep little ditch, and there was a few trees that we could have cut, but man, they were just so dangerous to cut them. To get on the backside, have to get in there and get them cut. It was I would have liked to got them, but it just wasn't worth the risk. Was not worth the risk to try to cut them and get them down, get hurt in the process. Just about fell. The Walnut King's yelling at me here. Well, this is the second stop of the day, kind of doing some urban stuff, but my God, what a tree. I mean, that is a thumper. And they've got them marked here. It's just and I was actually up here earlier this spring. I was up here and looked at the trees on the neighbor, and there just wasn't enough to cut. And now this lady here is wanting hers cut. And once again, this is where the skid steer really comes in handy for jobs like this, because you can see this yard's pretty neat and manicured. Of course, I've kind of gone over the details about the damage it'll do. Oh, she's got some elms marked. Little walnut there. And you know, some of these just, I mean, that's about as small as we want to cut them. Some of these here just won't be big enough to cut. That one, for instance, and this one. But you never know what kind of deals you get into in places like this. And you can find good trees in these residential areas. And it's not so bad working in places like this where there's a big backyard, where you've got room to fall everything, kind of a little bit of room to work with. So we'll walk around and see what we can find. Well, that kind of concludes today's grand adventure. Man, I really wanted to have the camera rolling because I ended up buying those trees we were just looking at. And of course, there's 3 neighbors going in together, so they want to sell their trees. And they really just, their yards, they're tired of the mess from the walnuts. They don't want them, which works out for us because we were more than happy to say, yeah, we'll buy those from you. But the neighbor had 2 thumpers. I mean, one of them was one of the bigger walnut trees. It was like those ones from this morning. It was one of the bigger trees I'd seen in a while. I mean, big tree. You know, it's going to be pushing well over 1,000 feet. I mean, it's a huge tree. Just tree. You don't see trees like that every day. You know, you just don't see them. Tomorrow, hope you're back with us tomorrow, because we're going to go back over. We're going to see that creek crossing that I spoke about yesterday. It's still there. Miraculously, don't know how it is. It's still there. I'm impressed. We're going to cut some walnut tomorrow because, well, that's what we cut. We cut walnut. So stay tuned. Stay with us. Glad you guys come along with us today. It's fun. We all had a good time. At least I did. Let's go over the end of stuff details here. Like I said, Ohio, the Paul Bunyan show. I'm going to go to that. Made up my mind. I'm going. no backing out. We're there. Hope to see you guys there. I've never been to a logging trade show before, so I'm pretty excited because I'm still a kid and like to look at big equipment, like to play with heavy equipment, and like to own some heavy equipment, as you can tell. So we'll see you guys there, the guys that are going. Looking forward to it. And I've had some people ask me if I'm going, just from Facebook and from the YouTube channel. And that's kind of what prompted me to go. Just a few people asking, and I was like, you know what? I will go. I will go to that. So it's a ways for me. I think it's 750 miles out there. So I mean, it's gonna be a trip. It'll be a fun little road trip. We're gonna bring some special guests along with us. I'm not saying anything about who it is yet. Partly because the special guest list isn't full yet either. But we are going to take some guests. I don't know that we'll take the old Diesel here, because that would be, as much as I love riding this truck everywhere, 700 miles and this old war wagon is a long ways. So we might try to find different accommodations on our vehicle of choice. But yeah, looking forward to meeting everybody out there. I don't know, be a good time, guys. Thanks a lot for following along. You know all the other stuff I always talk about. Turner Logging LLC on Facebook and Instagram, Timber Tracker on Facebook and Instagram, and Logger Threads on Facebook and Instagram. All that good stuff. Guys, stay tuned. We will see you tomorrow, and we'll be back in the timber cutting, and we're going to take a look at this creek crossing. It'll be a good story with it. I mean, it's a lot of nostalgia there. So guys, we'll see you tomorrow.